Hey everybody, it's Roundthony Uptano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for our Great Albums segment where I go over some of my favorite releases in February. Hopefully they didn't slip through the cracks for you guys, but if they did, I'm here to remind you now that I think they're good and worth your time. Woo! Links to listen and to check out my reviews of these releases down in the description as usual. And let's do it. Let's kick things off with the new Kil Moon album, Common as Light and Love Are Red Valleys of Blood. Very verbose album title, very verbose album, very long album from Mr. Mark Kozelek, but a very fulfilling, very thoughtful, very emotionally traumatic at points album, and I think sort of goes into a lot of the weird personality quirks of Mark Kozelek as an artist in a really intriguing way. He spins some interesting narratives here, spins some interesting yarns. He goes through the kind of spoken word rock instrumental playing in the background formula that he was toying with on Universal Themes here as well, but I think he does some more interesting things with it. He even dabbles in like a little bit of hip hop on this thing. Some of the songs do border on him like rapping. It's kind of interesting. A lot of cool clashes of musical styles coming together on this album in a way that actually kind of complements each other, or in a way that's actually kind of boundary pushing, I would say. Yeah, it's a really adventurous record. Really like this album from Mark. I think he bounced back from his past few kind of lackluster releases, even if some in the music community don't seem to think so. I'm really enamored with this album. Moving on from there, also loved the brand new album from Santha Process, Sampha's debut full-length album. It was a long time coming, but very well worth the wait considering how passionate, how beautifully orchestrated and performed and sung these songs are. It's very futuristic, very cutting-edge soul and alternative R&B. That sort of James Blake similarity is most certainly still there in his vocal tone, but I think Sampha has sort of proven himself to be a different sort of a composer, a different songwriter on this record. Also a very different lyricist as well. A very sad album, very moody album, I'm going to say. This is not an upbeat record. This is not a feel-good album. This is not an album that you want to put on when you're trying to lighten the mood, but I do actually think it is a very beautiful record. I think it's a very heart-wrenching record. Definitely one of the better singer-songwriter records we're going to most likely hear this year. And also I want to give a shout-out to the new Quelle album. Being You is great. I wish I could be you more often. A really introspective hip-hop album. Probably the most introspective I've heard a hip-hop album get in a while. Really conceptual too, and Quelle manages to sort of go to some real emotional depths while maintaining sort of the cynical, funny, tongue-in-cheek, really clever personality that made his past releases so good. And I'm going to leave it at that. I want to shout out a couple other releases here that didn't make it on my love list, but certainly I would still recommend them. The new Power Trip album, Nightmare Logic, really quality thrash metal album with kind of an old school underground sound, really aggressive, really in your face, really badass. The new Jesca Hoop album, one of the most skeletal and stripped back and simple but also beautiful singer-songwriter records I heard in February. And the new Jonwayne album, Rap Album 2, which, as disheveled and as disorganized as it is, that album reaches some serious emotional depths as far as hip-hop goes. And God, the opening track is just so goddamn killer. I would try this album out just for that opening track, TED Talk. If you listen to any track on the album, listen to that track. And Blue Green too. That's a really powerful song. But those are all the albums I want to recommend in this video. Links and everything, like I said, down there in the description box. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you get some good recommendations out of this, and you are the best. Transition. Have you given this set of albums that I recommended unto you a listen? I hope you have, and if you haven't, links down there in the description box. You're the best. Antoine Fantoine. Other links next to my head. Make sure you hit those. Subscribe to the channel. Official website too. Eat your fruits and vegetables forever.